Hello, my name's Cameron. Today I want to talk to you about something very important I see happening in video games right now with an announcement that was made at GDC, which is the Game Developers Conference, which took place in California a couple weeks ago. It's typically where people who make video games go and talk to each other about making video games. The cool thing is, though, a lot of times they make new announcements about new games, new technology, stuff like that at this conference. And there was one really cool thing that I wanted to talk to you about today, and that is the OnLive service that was announced. You may not be familiar with cloud computing, but OnLive is a cloud computing service. They announced it. They said they've been working under the radar, so you haven't heard about it for a few years. Basically, let me give you a little intro here. You'll enjoy my slideshow here. Alright, OnLive, cloud computing. Basically, instead of you using your PC at home to play a video game where you normally take a disc and install it onto your system, and you have to have a pretty technically advanced computer to play some of these higher intensity games, take a lot of system requirements, high CPU power, lots of memory, stuff like that. OnLive sort of does away with that with cloud computing. So what happens is you get on your PC, your television, or your Mac computer, which is the part that really excites me. You don't have to really have anything except for a broadband connection. That's what these little lines meant to represent. You have a broadband connection. You connect to the OnLive service, and basically you play all your games streaming. This is very similar to the video-on-demand services that you see from your local cable providers, where you can just go with your little remote and select the video you want to watch at any time, and then it just sort of instantly sends to your television. This service OnLive, at least they've said, it's supposed to be the same thing except for video games. Now let's go to our next graphic. Now, how it works with video games, how it's different from streaming video. Video is usually just one way, as you can see here. Low latency video. Latency refers to if there's lag in the system. It's similar to on-demand services in that it's sending video to you, the user, but you are also sending controller actions back. We've all seen people play video games. You know, when you play Mario, you have the little thumb pad, and you need to hit the button for him to do something on the screen. Well, typically, this would send a signal to your Xbox or to your Nintendo Wii or something like that, and the action would happen on your screen, no internet involved. This takes away the problem of not having a Wii or not having an Xbox, not having a beefy enough computer to play these high-profile games. Instead, you have a controller that's hooked up to your television, or you're using your keyboard on your computer, and that signal gets sent back through your internet connection to the OnLive service, where they have a bunch of computers, presumably really powerful ones, that take that signal from your controller action, interpret it, do the resolution in the game, so if you hit jump, sends that jump command out to the OnLive service, makes your character jump, then it takes the video of your character jumping and sends it back through the internet to your television, to your computer, to your PC, to your Mac, whatever. So instead of you playing on your computer, you're playing through the OnLive service. Now, there are some issues with this. This sounds really cool. This sounds like space-age stuff. The problem is it uses broadband internet. Now, if you've ever had broadband internet, you know that there are problems with it, like sometimes there's outages, sometimes your wireless isn't hooked up right, or there's just all sorts of problems. Maybe a tree branch falls on your cable connection and you can't watch your cable TV. Well, the OnLive service is dependent upon broadband internet and things like that. They've said that a couple of the requirements for the service, they're going to want you to have at least this fast a connection, 1.5 megabits per second, for standard definition. That's normal TV, tube TV, old-style TV. And ideally, they want you to have a 5.0 megabits per second broadband connection for HD gaming. Now, a lot of people play games like a typical movie. A typical movie, maybe 3 hours. That's going to be 3 hours of 5 megabits per second in HD sending back to your television. That's a lot of bandwidth to be pulling down. But when you're done, you're done. A lot of people play games for more than 3 hours at a stretch. Say you play, let's say, 5 games, or let's say you play one game for 5 hours every day. A lot of people do that. Don't give me that look. A lot of people do that. If you're playing for 5 hours a day, that's going to eat up your bandwidth, especially if you have a bandwidth cap, which a lot of companies have started doing, a lot of broadband providers have started doing. They put a cap on how much stuff you can download in a month. I think the most famous of this is Comcast, the cable provider, has put a 250 gigabyte bandwidth cap on how much you can download in a month. So for some people, this is going to be a limitation in how many games they can play. They might hit their broadband cap before they're finished playing their games. And they can't play them offline since it depends on the cable to send back to the OnLive service. The other problem is you use your broadband for just regular internet stuff. Say you're downloading a movie from the iTunes store, or you're shopping on Amazon.com, or you're watching videos on YouTube. All that stuff is going to eat into your bandwidth. Or say your roommate's doing that, or your wife, or whoever. All that stuff is constantly eating up that bandwidth cap, and that's going to eat into your game time. Another potential problem with this, well, as I said before, there's a lot of problems with broadband internet, not the least of which is that no one really has a super steady connection all the time. Put it this way, sometimes your internet goes down, sometimes it's just slow. Broadband even depends on other people, like peak hours. You may notice slowness in your broadband internet connection at peak hours, like say 7 p.m. That's because everyone in your neighborhood is getting online, watching videos on demand, going to YouTube, stuff like that. And it's all eating into that bandwidth of the ISP. So that presents a problem. If you want to play your games, you're paying money to this service. OnLive has said they want to be a subscription service, maybe offered through your cable provider, something like that. They haven't really said so far. But it's another potential problem. The cool thing is, though, that they have a micro console that you can buy, that you can put on your TV. It's about yay big, maybe the size of an iPhone or something like that. You plug in into your TV, hook it up to your broadband, and you can play games that way. Or you can just use a client that you download to your computer, almost like a internet browser, like Mozilla Firefox or Internet Explorer, on your PC or on your Mac, and you can play games through that. So that's really cool. Now, the really neat thing is that you don't have to have a super beefy computer or Macintosh. Like, Macintosh usually starts at like $1,000 for the low-end one that doesn't have a lot of power. That would be all you need to use this OnLive service. You just download their client, start playing. Or on your PC, you don't even have to have a dedicated graphics card. You can just start playing on like a $300 computer you get at Best Buy or something. I think this is a really neat service, but I think they have some potential problems. Bandwidth caps, unsteady internet. If I'm paying a subscription service, I'd like all that stuff to be in HD. Maybe my internet connection can't provide that. I'm going to be effed. Another potential problem, they need to have distribution centers or OnLive servers within a 1,000-mile radius of your home for it to be able to work. Right now, I think they have them set up on the East Coast and on the West Coast. I think they're maybe put one in Chicago or something like that, but say if I live in Iowa and they don't have these services very close, I'm not going to be able to use this really well. However, it is a really neat thing. I'm glad it's coming. You can check out more information on OnLive.com. That's let me go back. OnLive, spelled like it sounds, .com. Go there, check out their stuff. Go to the news and press releases section. You can see a lot of stories, a lot of video links, and see it for yourself. I think it's really cool. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later.